I'm going to Google Sheets and I'm going to make a spreadsheet for my basic shapes, perimeter and area. I'm going to hit the little plus button down in the lower right hand corner of the screen. I'm going to make a new spreadsheet. I'm going to call this one shapes. The first shape I'm going to do is going to be a rectangle. So I'm just going to click in cell A1 and I'm going to write the word rectangle. A rectangle has a base and a height. Figure out the perimeter and area. I'm just going to give myself a little bit of room just over here in G. I'm going to write perimeter and I'm going to write area. I'm giving myself all that room because later on we're going to have other shapes like trapeziums or trapezia or trapezoids if you want. They have big base, a little base, a height, slant 1 and slant 2. They've got 4 sides and a height, so that's 5 different things. So I need to give myself a lot of room. Let's say we were looking at a rectangle whose base measured 10 centimeters and whose height measures 5 centimeters. The perimeter would be the base plus the height doubled. I'm going to make a formula for that. I'm going to write equals. The perimeter is going to be the base, okay, and then plus the height. I want that doubled. I'm going to put a bracket around that. So I'm going to just click right there. Put open bracket, put a close bracket after my B3. Then I'm going to multiply that by 2. Now on the computer, multiplication is that little star right there. On a computer, you would do Shift 8 times 2 and return. Notice it gives me 30 because the base plus the height is 15, doubled is 30. The area would be 10 times 5 would be 50. But I'm not going to do 10 times 5. I'm going to press equals and I'm going to click on the base, which is the 10, then the times, and then I'm going to click on the height, which is 5, and then return. It gives us 50. The area would be 50. Notice what happens if I change the base. Let's say I change the base to 7 and I change my height to 2. The area would be 14. And notice it changes instantly to 14. The perimeter would be 7 plus 2 is 9, doubled 18. This is what a spreadsheet does for you, instant calculation. That's for the rectangle. For the parallelogram, it would be very similar. I'm going to write parallelogram like that. And a parallelogram also has a base and it has a height. It also has a slant height or a side. So I'm going to write base, height, and slant. My perimeter, I can copy that, drag that over, click, copy, click down here, paste, like that. I'm just going to go into Good Notes. All right, so I'm just going to quickly draw a parallelogram like that. This would be my base. This would be the height. This would be the slant. Something like that. Let's say we had a slant of 6 and we had a height of 5 centimeters and we had a base of 8 centimeters. The base, it was 8 and the height we said was 5 and the slant height was 6. The slant is 6. The perimeter would be, you're going to add the slant to the base and then the slant to the base, right? The height doesn't come into the perimeter. The perimeter would be twice the base plus the slant equals the base plus, where's my plus? The slant, and then doubled. So I'm going to go back and put my bracket in there. Times 2, return. We would have the base is 8 plus the slant is 6. That's 14, doubled, 28. The area would be base times height. It's just going to be equal to the base times the height, like that. That would give us an area of 8 times 5, 40 units squared. For the trapezium, remember, you're going to have a whole lot more than what we had in the parallelogram. Let's draw a trapezium quickly, just to remind you. Get a height. The other slant. This would be my little base, big base. My height is slant 1, is slant 2. And remember that the perimeter would be just adding up the base, the slant 1, the big base, and the slant 2, but not the height, because the height is not on the outside. It's just adding up the outsides. And the area would be big base plus little base divided by 2 times the height.